Right, you lot, I think Aston Villa are one win away from getting Champions League football. We play in 2 days against Chelsea, Saturday, 8 p.m. It is going to be a massive celebration if we win, but it could be a massive squeaky bum time moment if we do not. I'm going to preview the game, go through what I think we should do in terms of our starting lineup. If you are enjoying the Aston Villa content, of course, leave a like, comment down below your thoughts on what will happen in this Chelsea game. Subscribe for more. But let's get into it with my Aston Villa starting 11 for a game that could see us in the Champions League for the first time in over 20 years. So as you can see on the screen, only a couple of major changes for me, and I will tell you why I've done each one. In goal, Emi Martinez keeps his role. Obviously, no one's going to be replacing him anytime soon. Luca Digne remains on the left because I don't think Alex Moreno is going to be fit in time for the game. And then Pau Torres and Diego Carlos are my centre-back pairing, just purely for the fact of Cole Palmer is such a magnificent player. I've really enjoyed watching him. I think he's going to be back for this game. You have Nicholas Jackson as well, who, yes, he can't hit a barn door with a banjo, but he's bloody good at getting to that barn door. And I just feel like we need a little bit more stability. And unfortunately, I don't think Matty Cash adds that, hence why I've moved Ezri Konsa over to the right. Again, it's purely, and it's a massive compliment to Cole Palmer, but it's mainly just to deal with him and how good he is across that front sort of four in rotation for Manchester City, Chelsea. And then in midfield, Morgan Rogers, who I believe is one of the outstanding performers in the Premier League period over the past 4 weeks or so, starts on the left because John McGinn is the one that keeps his spot in the centre of midfield, with Douglas Luiz coming back to partner him. Leon Bailey starts out on the right again. I think it's 10 goals, 9 assists now for him this season. What a player he has been, and I think he deserves many pundits to what pundits I can't remember the word, but he deserves to be praised towards the end of this season for sure. My player of the season, Ollie Watkins, obviously keeps his spot, and then Yuri Tielemans, who I think again has been another outstanding performer for Aston Villa in the last 3 to 4 weeks, keeps his spot in the starting lineup, but going back to that second striker role that we have seen in play. It's unfortunate for the likes of Diaby, who has actually had a good game against Bournemouth last week. But I just think, you know, when it comes to Chelsea, you're going to need an extra body to really run the midfield. And I feel like Yuri Tielemans is the man that can do that. And he has made that second striker spot look so natural this season. And he's actually, you know, considering how badly he did actually start the season, I think he's actually turned into probably one of our most important players. But that's my lineup. Let's look at the recent results of both teams and what I think Chelsea may line up against us, because they do have an injury, a fresh injury to talk about as well, one that could impact their game quite severely. This was Chelsea's last lineup, and this was against Arsenal. The less said about that game, the better, right, Chelsea fans? But they do have Petrovic in goal, Cucurella, a player that we've actually been linked to in the past couple of days, in left back, Badashil and Diassi with Alfie Gilchrist right back, and then Enzo Fernandez, who will be the one that is missing for this game. I believe he's undergone surgery and is out until the start of next season. So he will not be playing for Chelsea. They'll have to go with the likes of a Trevor Chalobah or someone like that, or like a Carney Chukwuemeka in midfield. And he was next to Moise Caicedo. Mudryk started on the left. I anticipate Cole Palmer might take his spot, because he usually sticks with starting Madueke, Gallagher, and then Nicholas Jackson up front. Obviously on the bench, they do have the likes of Raheem Sterling. Cole Palmer will be back, so one of those front four will drop out. Probably Mudryk. Carney Chukwuemeka, a player that we know very well, sold his soul for Spotify billions, and now all he's doing is listening to Spotify while sitting on the bench. So good one, Carney, well done. But apart from that, no one on their bench really should be that worrying to Aston Villa. And the thing that worries me about Chelsea, if I kind of cut off the screen for a little bit, is there seems to be a bit of dissension around the team at the moment. There's many rumours swirling around social media and Sky Sports of Pochettino's sacking being imminent, his job being hanging by a thread. And you have Thiago Silva, the most senior player in that team, and his wife is literally tweeting out stuff that's very cryptic, in the sense of almost calling Chelsea, the way it's being managed, a joke. And when that starts to happen, you have the players arguing over a penalty. There's just stuff about Chelsea this season that just makes me feel like they're literally going to drive off a cliff, and it isn't long until Pochettino is replaced at that club. But I also think that Todd Bowley is running it like an American, pretty much. That's just all I can say. He's running it like an American. There doesn't seem to be much thought into it, and that is a worry for them as well. I think they are probably one of the most bipolar teams in the Premier League this season, though. We look at their recent results, and I think it actually sums it up perfectly. A draw to Sheffield United, a draw to Burnley, but then they beat Manchester United. They beat Everton 6-0, literally ran Everton off the pitch, a team that's just beaten Liverpool, by the way, and then go and get battered 5-0 against Arsenal. You compare that to Aston Villa's recent results, and things are starting to look slightly better for us. 3 wins, a draw, and a loss in our last 5, and it's left the Premier League table looking like this. If I scroll across here, we're currently 6 points above Spurs, with a chance to make that 9 if we can get this dub against Chelsea, because we play before Spurs, who have Arsenal next. Yes, it is 3 games above, but that means it's so much pressure for them to win all 3 of those games, considering their run. And that's why I think if we win this game, we're going to get Champions League. And that's why I think there's a lot of pressure. Chelsea currently sit 9th. I think they're the biggest underperformers this season, if you look at their budget and players and the contracts that their players are on. And it's a massive, massive game. Like I say, Champions League, if we win, I'd bet my house on that. And I think there's signs around Chelsea right now of a capitulation, of a collapse. And that is very, very good for Aston Villa. That loss against Arsenal is either going to galvanise them or completely break them. And some of the stuff I'm seeing behind the scenes of that club, I think it's the old adage. I think Pochettino's lost the dressing room. They've lost Enzo Fernandez. I think we're going to do it. They've got a lot of injuries. We're on the up right now. We're playing good/great football again. We've had a week off. I'm going for an Aston Villa 2-0 victory. I'm going to go for Ollie Watkins to get his 20th goal of the season, and Yuri Tielemans as well, with 2 Leon Bailey assists. Oh no, actually 1 Leon Bailey assist, 1 Morgan Rogers assist. 2-0, Champions League secured. Come on Villa, do it for the boys. I'll see you guys soon. Be nice to everyone.